I'm Jenny Thomas.
And I'm her friend, Ellie David. We decided to create a podcast that embodies what you would talk about with your closest friends.
So sit back and relax and put your headphones in.
Because you're listening to the Honestly Unfiltered podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Honestly Unfiltered podcast. Today, Ellie and I have with us the one and only Bachelor expert, and who we like to call our Bachelor correspondent, Erin Hill. We just jumped right into this one, so here we go.
So what did you guys, I know you want to cover, obviously, the reunion and the finale. Did you want to cover anything else?
I think we should just talk about all of the...
the craziness that's going on?
All the craziness. You want to start with Susie and Clayton?
Yeah, because I don't know about what you're talking about, so yeah.
Okay. I don't know anything about Susie. Okay. What are we talking about? Wait a
Just
minute
when
now.
you get caught up.
Right out the gate.
I know. She's like, damn it.
I don't know nothing.
I don't know either.
I just found out about it a minute ago.
Yeah.
So Clayton, though, Clayton's season was when? Because I've heard it referenced a lot. I know a lot of the people on the beach were a part of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was the last Bachelor. Okay.
Rachel and Gabby came from his season. From his shit show of a season.
They were top 3.
Right. I remember you telling me it was a mess. Okay.
And Susie and Clayton broke up right before our last podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I broke the news to you guys, right? I was like, by the way.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay. All right.
So,
Erin. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say Erin posted something, but you can tell, because I have to look it up. You can tell it.
You mean in my stories, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was Us Weekly, I believe, said that Susie quoted Susie as saying, it's best to vet someone before you fall in love with them. And then it had a photo of her with Clayton. So we can assume she means Clayton. So I'm wondering if some dirt has come out recently, maybe about his past or during the season or while Susie and he were together. I don't know. This is really upsetting to me because I loved them together and I don't want to feel like it was tarnished in any way.
Would that surprise you guys if something came out about him?
Not me, but it would Erin.
Sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know his character. I don't know him at all.
Carrie and I and my sister, we all covered that season. So, and we were in depth. My sister had charts and PowerPoints and we could refer to anything we had a question for, we could refer to the spreadsheet. And she one day went on a deep dive on TikTok and she found these girls, they were coming forward and saying that Michelle had dodged a bullet and that these girls were in for it because he was a major fuckboy in Missouri and that he would, basically, what's the word? Pump and dump? I don't know. That sounds terrible, but he would basically drop and roll.
Oh, dang.
Yes, I was going to say drop and roll, but yeah.
Pump and dump. I like that one.
I've heard that before, but I don't know where. Oh, that's when you're breast pumping.
Yeah, I was like, pump and dump. Wait a minute. Tell me your mom without telling me your mom.
I like it, though. It's perfect. I like that one.
Tell him off my game.
Sorry, that's a good one, though, Jenny. Good job.
Yeah. So apparently there were these girls that came forward and they said that they had been in a relationship with him and that he dumped them to go on The Bachelorette. And then they were involved with him in between filming the 2 seasons. And he was legendary at the campus when he went to college. He was Mr. Frat Boy and but the lifestyle. He was the college football player. He was a football player. So I'm guessing for a lot of athletes, it kind of goes with the territory. But yeah, I took it as, okay, maybe he's ready to settle down. Then, I'm not surprised. The way he carried on with Cassidy in the episode with Hillary Duff, when he was allowing her to basically dry hump him at the pool at the kid's birthday party. That to me was even Nick, as sexual as Nick is, when the girl in Miami, Corinne, was trying to get with him on camera, he was no, totally backed off. I mean, especially after what happened with him and Caitlin on camera, mic'd up. But so, and then the way he carried on with Shanae, not letting her go. And you could tell he was just drawn to the party girl.
Okay.
And so I don't care for Clayton. I don't know why they made him the Bachelor, except for that he's a yes man. And I think they figured he'd do what they said and it would be great entertainment. I was really shocked. I mean, the three of us were. The finale episode that we taped, I mean, when we recorded it live and we were like, you got to be kidding me. She's going back with him. Like, this is after all of that and the way he spoke to her in the finale and the way he gaslit her. So I'm wondering if maybe, I don't think he cheated on her, but I'm wondering if maybe it's in the way he speaks to her and a little bit of like the Aaron and Genevieve thing, the way Aaron communicates.
Just a little toxic.
Yeah, unfortunately. So
I love them together because I love that's okay. I loved their TikToks together. That was like, I love them. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm all in, on this relationship. So, well, I'm sure more tea will come out, especially because of Susie saying that. And I'm wondering, I mean, I may even post something to see if people, gravitate and comment, just to hear if there's anything.
It must be really bad if she's speaking on it.
Yeah.
Because, they mostly stay so private. That's shocking to me that she's actually speaking out about it.
Right. Yeah. No, it is definitely. I know. Oh my gosh.
There was something I wanted to ask you guys what you thought, because it did intrigue me, even though I was not a Jersey Shore watcher either. But out of all of them, I always thought Vinny was super cute. Like, I was the most attracted to him. But I've seen all this back and forth with Gabby and Vinny, and it's like so cute. Do you think it's real?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh,
Yeah, like that's interesting. Yeah. The two worlds like collide,
Yeah, I do.
Ellie, you've come such a long way. You're up on all of this. Yes. Look at you.
Listen.
You've gone from just trying to like hang on. Listen. Yeah. You've done your homework.
I'm trying. If I'm being honest with you, it's hard for me to get on board with some of it. I mean, you get kind of hooked just to what's happening. Mm-hmm. But in the back of my mind, I'm going, what the hell? This is crazy. Like, I mean, does that make sense? So, like it can be intriguing to watch for sure. But it's like you were pointing out the one podcast we did, Aaron, I'm not sure if it was the last one or the one before, but you were like, remember, they've only been together for a few days. And I'm like,
on the beach. Yeah.
I didn't even, I started to think like that though, which was a little more helpful because I'm like, they haven't been together for weeks even or months, this is days. Jesus.
Well, and I think too, because these shows, if you look at any other reality TV show out there, you don't have as much off-camera action and drama as you do with Bachelor Nation. Am I right? I mean,
true.
Absolutely. Right. And I think that you're watching the show, but then you're also like, okay, let me look at their stories. Let me look at their posts. Let me see what they're actually doing. Yeah. And can I kind of like be a, investigator and like a detective and figure out, are they really together still? Are they, like that doesn't happen with like any show. Maybe Love is Blind, maybe something like that, similar, but not to this extent. I feel like Bachelor Nation really just kind of ramps up once the show is over and once the cameras stop rolling.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say that you've made really good points about the age of the contestants or whatever players, whatever they are. But I don't know that it would work that way with older people.
Well, look how boring.
They wouldn't get I don't think so. They wouldn't have all that behind the scenes and the off cameras. I don't think so. They'd have some, but probably not to that level.
You look at like Michelle and Danielle, right? Or Michelle, oh my gosh. Michael and Danielle. They were pretty boring. I mean, and Danielle was on Caitlin's podcast and she was like, yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like, you guys were so boring, but I loved it because you were stable. We could root for you and knew like everything was going to be fine. Plus they were, sorry to say, but they were actually very protected as well because they didn't have to go through split week, right? So you got to look at that as well. But because I think of their age, like they wanted to kind of showcase an older relationship without the drama and say, look, we can do this too. See, we're not just all about the babies and the toxicity and all of that, right? But I feel like that was kind of a huge, like, in your face, Bachelor Nation, like, we can do this too. So, and with Brandon and Serene too, like, I feel like, yes, they did test them, but at the end of the day, they allowed them to stay together and get engaged. If they didn't want them to be together, they wouldn't be together. They would have done something that would have just, I mean, I know Brandon is like puppy dog, like, you know, I'll never stop loving you, like, on day 2, but still, if the producers did not want them together, they would have either forced them to break up, and then they would have gotten together off camera or whatever.
They would have dragged Michelle on that beach.
Something. Yes. I mean, Michelle is single. They could have done
Seriously.
that. Yeah, exactly. At least to confuse them, or, you know, something, throw a wrench, right? But they didn't. They wanted that relationship to succeed, and they probably knew, well, of course they knew about Johnny and Victoria and how they weren't going to stay engaged, right? So it's all very interesting.
It's literally some Hunger Games level shit, for real. Like, 100%. For real. May the odds forever be in your favor.
100%.
Like, it's insane.
Yes.
Cutthroat.
These people are brave for going on these shows. They are brave.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. You're really putting yourself out there, and you don't know which way it's going to go.
Well,
because public perception of you have no control over.
Well, you know, a few years back, I think it was Jaden Tanner's season. I can't be certain. There was this guy, I think his name was Joe from Kentucky, and he did something with horses. He had an accent that was just to die for. And I'm a sucker for a Southern draw. And I can't remember the name of the girl he was waiting for, but basically he played it. He played those women before her like a violin, because this other girl was coming on very late in the season. And then he dropped them like a bad habit, and he admitted on camera, oh yeah, just give me that rose. I got to get to this because I know who's coming. And back then it was very like frowned upon. They didn't talk amongst each other like they do now. So it was this big scandal. I don't even know where I'm going with this or why. But she ended up like double crossing him and ending up with someone that came after her. And he went home, and Bachelor Nation has not seen or heard from him again. But I guess my point is that I don't know. They talk.
Well,
I know they don't talk, or, you know.
Well, you're making basically my point, which is you don't know which way it's going to go.
There you go.
I mean,
there you go.
He didn't blow up and become uber huge in Bachelor Nation, and you know, you never know.
But also production has a big heavy hand in that. They have a big heavy hand. I mean, they can give you a good edit, right? They can give you good edit, bad edit, villain edit, whatever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what's her face? My God, I can't even. Kate. I loved Kate at first, and then I was like, I do not like this girl. Like, I think you are a gold digging, you know. And then she doubled down at the reunion, and I was like, damn, like you really do feel that way, right? Like I wasn't even harshly judging you. That's who you are. So, you know, but it's interesting because at first I was like, oh, she is hilarious. She's funny. She's fun. Like,
I remember you saying.
Yeah. And then, boy, did my opinion change for sure. But I do believe it is how much they allow the personality to come out, and how much, you know, because they could have cut a lot of that stuff out that she said, right? But they kind of like, my sister in Christ, like you know, that go. 13 echo or whatever they had.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
My head wanted to explode. I'm like, really?
Yeah, exactly.
This is the brand you're representing?
So yeah, I feel like if we don't give production that kind of credit, you know, we're really kind of deceiving ourselves, because they really do have all the power here. They have all of the power.
Definitely.
Yeah, I can see that.
They will bring in, if they have to, they will bring in someone from middle school that you
had a crush
screwed over, called a racial slur, something to stir the drama. Like, I was 5 years old. Well, you're still a bigot.
You racist piece of shit.
They have no boundaries. They have no, like, morals. I mean, it's just, you know, they're making good TV.
But I mean, I guess if you're going into this, you know that. I mean, you don't know how it feels is the thing. So a lot of people going into it probably are like, yeah, we get it. But do you? You know, until you're actually your ass is handed to you and you're like, oh, damn. You know, so, and you can hear it. Like I listened to those 2 podcasts, Jeni, right before we came on.
Yeah, I did too.
With the Almost Famous. And you hear it in their voices. It really did. I'm glad I listened, and I'm really going to try to listen to more podcasts, like I was saying last time, because it gave me a totally different perspective, especially with Johnny.
Yeah.
I love Ben Higgins. His voice, I need to listen to him more because his voice is so soothing.
They were really good, both of them. Yeah, I'm not sure who is who from whatever, but they were good podcasters.
Ben's voice in person is even just like butter. Like it's just butter. And the way he just like looks at people, like he's such a good human, you guys. Like he's
it makes me want to cry. Like I feel like he's like the big brother, like to all that you've always wanted, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
He was acting like that with Johnny too, especially, you know, really, you could tell he could feel like his pain and you know, it definitely changed my perspective a little bit.
I read his book and it was life-changing.
Yes. His book's incredible.
Yeah, I'll have to give it to you to read. Yeah.
I was part of his publicity team for that book. And so I did a podcast on it, and it was really fun. But I was just so proud of him. It had to be such a hard book for him to write, so vulnerable and
it had to be
so beautiful. I cried several times reading it. Right? I mean, it's so emotional.
Me too.
Wow.
I listened to the audiobook, and hearing it in his voice, it was just amazed. I mean, the things you would not believe, the things that he told that happened in his life, and the stories that he tells in the beginning about not being picked in kindergarten on a team and how that stayed with him his entire life. I was like, oh my God, that's me right there.
Yeah.
But then his stories about being an only child, that reminded me, a lot of what he said reminded me of my son, and I made him listen to it. And he was like, wow. When I got that book out, Ellie, Ashton was in that really dark, depressive place, and that really pulled him out of.
Oh my gosh! You need to tell Ben that. Did you tell Ben that?
I wrote him an email. I sent him an email. Yes, I did, and he responded to me. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, yeah. That's why he does what he does. He lives for things like that.
He thanked me. Yeah, I'd love to have him on the podcast just to talk about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's get him on our podcast. That'd be great.
No, just reach out to him. Honestly, he is like the sweetest human. Seriously, and I just.
We'll be like,
it's amazing.
We'll just drop some Aaron. Aaron said we should email you.
Oh my gosh.
There we go. Very well.
Another person you could interview is his mom. His mom wrote a beautiful book, and I was crying like the entire interview. I mean, she is just the most incredible. She was so vulnerable. She was talking about depression. She was talking about divorce. She was talking about loss of children. Like, unbelievable. I mean, I was not prepared for all that was her. Amy is incredible. Shout out to Amy Higgins. She is. I still can remember every word of that.
What's the name of her book?
I can't remember the name of her book though.
I can look it up.
Right? So
yeah, we can look it up.
But I believe it was a book or maybe a blog, like something, and maybe that's why I can't remember the name of it, but I feel like it was some collection of just stories or poems or just really heartfelt, beautiful, and just her philosophy is just like eye-opening and just a beautiful way to look at life. Seriously, like incredible what she's come through and her amazing just positivity. But look at Ben. I mean, he is her child. Like, it's just, they're incredible, both of them. But I could go on and on and on. She's amazing.
Wow.
I'll have to look it up. Yeah, no, like the way he talks about he wasn't supposed to be an only child.
Yes.
It's so relatable. Like, my son was not supposed to be an only child, but I couldn't have anymore because I would have died. So
you would love her story.
Totally related with everything he said in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow. No, he's incredible. I'm still though, and maybe you guys can convince me, because I'm still on the fence about Johnny and who he is as a person. And so here's what doesn't sit well with me. Okay.
I am.
Oh, good. Okay. I didn't know if you guys were team.
But listening to that gave me just a little bit more softness towards him. Because prior I was like, you freaking.
Okay, so tell me why.
But listening to
tell
it.
me why, because I didn't get that.
So I thought why it softened me. So I think just listening, I felt like I heard some real pain. Now that pain might not be because he was in love with her necessarily. I don't really buy it. You know, I just don't. I think he was forcing it. I don't think he was maybe. Part of me just wants to think that he wanted it to develop into something, but he wasn't ready. But the only way to push it forward and stay to the end was to go through with it. But I think he had feelings for her. I think he was super attracted to her. I think he hoped something would develop. I think she did too. But the reality is that he's a liar. On that podcast, you know, they really didn't press him. And maybe that's because Ben is who Ben is, like you're describing him, and he can relate to him. So he didn't want to, you know, but I was waiting to hear, okay, you told her you owned a bar, dude, and you don't even have a job. Like, why are we not talking about this? You know, that's a big thing to lie about when you're talking about engagement.
Yes, you're not stable.
This is not, no. So, but I mean, yeah, he just turned 26. I get it, you know, but it's like.
On the show, his byline is real estate agent.
That was the other
Which
thing.
is not true. He said he wants to get into real estate. That doesn't make you an agent.
I did look him up. I did look him up. He was with Compass.
Oh, so he's licensed.
In Tampa.
Okay.
He's got a page. He's licensed. He has a page. Whether he's still with them or not, I'm licensed with an agency. It doesn't mean I'm actively being a real estate agent.
Right.
Yeah.
But why not say that?
I don't know.
Why not say that though?
Exactly. Nothing. Listen, it did not change my mind. It just made me be a little more empathetic to, okay, you're in this situation. I guess I'm empathetic to most of them, except for Aaron. We'll get to that.
Present company excluded.
You know, not this Aaron. but you know, I'm more empathetic than I was before diving into this.
That's interesting.
With all of them, you know, because and I thought of you a lot, Erin, because you had said that to me, like, you got to remember they're young and they're in this crazy environment and the blah, 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 blah. So it did give me some empathy. But yeah, no, he's straight up liar.
So
straight up.
So here's where I think is strange, because for the first time, Jesse or the show or whatever was allowing people to leave together, right? You don't have to break up. Like last year, Noah and Abigail were forced to break up. They literally had to, they faked a breakup because production said, if you're not getting engaged, get the fuck out. You got to break up. You're done. Right. And they went on separate vans and everything. Right. This season, they allow couples to stay together. Why wouldn't Johnny and Victoria just leave together and try to work things out? She wanted an engagement. Exactly. So Johnny was like, okay, I'm going to lose her if I don't propose, which is the worst reason to ever propose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why.
Totally. You know,
go ahead, Jen.
Johnny. Okay. So I will say Johnny's a Jersey boy, and I tend to be attracted to them because they're from where I grew up. So he has that elusive bad boy quality. I could see why Gabby was attracted. I could see why Victoria was attracted.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the lying thing, I think Johnny is in a transition period in his life trying to figure out what he wants to be when he grows up. Now he's going to be a rapper. I don't know. Now, and then at first it was Victoria was helping him with a rapping career. Now he's going back to paramedic school. Whatever it is, he'll figure it out. But and I can understand. Okay, you're on national TV. Yeah, maybe you lied because the cameras are rolling. But just to go from you own it to managing it to you're not even working there anymore is a lot. And then you're acting like a high profile real estate agent. Because on The Bachelorette, he was a real estate agent. There was no talk of being a bar manager or whatever. Yeah. He reminds me of a guy that someone I know used to date. And this guy was really charming, and he was also very narcissistic. And he would, and when when it came out that he called Victoria the see you next Tuesday word,
Yes.
Ooh.
I was like, okay, yes, he is just like him. Because this guy he used to be verbally abusive to my friend to the point of I'd be on the phone with him trying to reason with him, and he'd be like, he would say things to like try to like totally like cut you down in the moment, like when he wasn't getting his way. And I remember this one time this guy was like, your podcast sucks, and he hung up on me. And I'm like, okay, it's your opinion, sir. I guess that was the way to hurt my feelings, all right?
Wow.
So,
Like I could give you a list that was way better than that one.
In the beginning,
that's crazy.
Yeah, but in the beginning of their relationship, he like sent flowers every day because they had a distance, and he loved bombing, diamond earrings, all sorts of gifts. Oh, you want coffee? It would be sent from Uber, wherever, and it was oh my God, he's Prince Charming, and yes, and then when you get into it, he's this abusive asshole. I'm not wondering if that's what Victoria didn't uncover. Johnny, I feel like, played the martyr on Ben's podcast and Ben and Ashley's podcast. I don't know. Part of me felt sorry for him, but part of me was like, is he not elaborating because he's wrong? I mean, I feel like I could see the scene. She got mad because he was being a jerk, threw a wine glass at him, and then he, started calling her all sorts of names. Like, is Johnny that abusive boyfriend?
Well,
makes you wonder.
And the whole point of him saying, they're watching the show back, right? They're watching Paradise back, or no, Gabby season, right? They're watching Gabby season back, I believe. And he's like, gosh, if I only had facial hair on Gabby season, they would have made me the Bachelor. And she's like, you're out of your ever-loving mind, dude. Like, that would never have happened. You're not who they'd want for these reasons, whatever.
No.
I was going to ask about that.
Why
this
would he
whole,
say
like,
that?
he's saying that's what was causing some problems.
Yeah.
And she said the same thing. What the hell? So they were just sitting around fighting about his season on the Bachelor.
Yeah, well, and I think it was hard for her because she saw him with Gabby, and the world was seeing him with Gabby because he made it so far, right? He was top 3. So that was difficult for her, for Victoria, because she wanted to be the girl in his life. But I'm like, well, you kind of got to realize that, like, your show hasn't even aired yet. Like, I mean, you're not new to this. Like, the timelines, you know what I mean? Like how long production takes and all that stuff. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of odd for her to say, but
to me,
I'm sure it was
especially because to me, I would have taken it as a compliment. Oh, he wasn't ready to marry Gabby,
but maybe he's ready.
But he was ready to marry me. Yeah, so it's he wasn't in love with Gabby. Is how I took it, and you could see that hurt on Gabby's face when they were in Paradise, and it was pointed out that Victoria and Johnny were the strong couple and were probably going to get engaged. And Victoria and Gabby was like, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But Gabby has that, I'm not good enough. Like she has that ingrained in her because of her mom, which I can relate. I've definitely had that ingrained.
Me too.
Right.
Oh, me too.
So yeah, we can relate to that. So that, I'm sure that's where that comes from, which is, it's sad to see, but that's where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Which was what a hard thing to be doing then when you feel that way, I mean, that just makes it so much more challenging. Now, do you feel like, I'm still a little on the fence with Victoria too. I do feel like it was more him than her, but what is the deal with her and Greg? I mean, what?
So did you?
And I think they were pretty honest about it. I think they were trying at something and it wasn't happening. And he didn't want to go to Paradise. She did. He had another relationship. I really buy all of that.
Yeah.
So I think she was wide open to the possibility of something else. But I honestly think kind of the minute she realized that this was no bueno, she started thinking about Greg.
Oh, of course. Because in the back of her head, she always was thinking about, because they both expressed interest before she went on Paradise. And then Greg even admitted, like, I was hoping Victoria would come home single from Paradise. Then when she came home engaged, he was like, I was devastated. I was devastated. Mm-hmm. So that was interesting to hear, I feel like. But I think that the problem I have, and I don't know if you guys would agree or not, but the first word, almost literally the first word out of Greg's mouth was rekindled.
Yeah,
What a
I know.
weird
I
word
caught that.
choice.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Right. And then he corrected himself.
Right. But
you don't want us to believe anything was really happening, but now you just said rekindled. Like,
kindled again, right? Like, we know what that means. So I think, and you could see her kind of look at him. And then on Nick's podcast, when that was brought up, and it was brought up again almost immediately, Victoria's like, yeah, you had to say that. Or, like she knew that was a horrible word choice, right? So, yeah.
yeah.
But
I think at the end of the day, if Nick is speaking out about in defense of Victoria, because Nick will tell you if you're wrong, saying that there's another side that we really don't know of, and Johnny will not go on Nick's podcast because he knows he will be
skewered,
put to shreds and called out.
Oh, yeah.
Then there's a lot that didn't happen, and Johnny at the end of the day is probably not a nice guy.
I agree.
I agree with that.
I agree. I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that he probably.
He's definitely scared to death. It sounded to me like he really doesn't intend on doing much else other than that.
He wants to move
Almost
on
famous.
But like you said, he wants to play the martyr, and he wants to get all the, the.
He has an agent. He's not even verified on Instagram, and he has an agent.
Wow.
Like seriously.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a narcissist.
He wants to get famous and sit on his ass and surf and try to make money from stuff.
And if that's what you want to do, own it. There's so many people out there who are owning that. Like, don't pretend to be someone you're not, and especially don't lie about who you are to someone that probably did truly love you on some level. I'm sure she on some level loved him, and why would she say, yes to the proposal if she didn't? So
And let's talk about this. Why does someone who's in no position to get engaged or married go on The Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise when that's the expectation?
Fame. Exactly.
Or why would they want to be the Bachelor?
Just fame.
Exactly. He would be a horrible Bachelor because you have no intention of
not Clayton.
getting engaged to any of these women.
Right.
And no way of even
And
doing
no stable
it.
job.
I mean, you can't be a partner to someone with nothing going for yourself.
Right.
And what has happened with Bachelor production that they are not vetting these guys? Like, I know in the past, these guys that they've brought on are usually pretty stable in their careers. I mean, look at what we've had to draw from. And, Jason Tartick, Nick, Ben, several others. What we've gone from, Johnny, who's unemployed, but they're saying he's a real estate agent, and apparently Logan is a dog walker, Uber driver, or something like that. I mean, or they said Logan's a dog walker, but then Jill made a comment that Jacob over on the other coast of Florida was an Uber driver, but he says he's some sort of mortgage officer.
Right.
So, are they lying about, could they not find anybody to go on the show? Seriously.
Oh, I think they're struggling with people to come on the show because look at what happens post-show. All the mental health issues. They don't make it. They're even destroying their own leads now. Of course they're going to destroy you in a heartbeat and not even think about it, So what happens then is you're only going to attract people who want to be on the show for exposure. You're not going to attract people who have good hearts and actually have intention of marrying someone or getting engaged or having even a steady, stable relationship. You're going to get the players. You're going to get the people that just want the fame. They're fame hungry. So unfortunately, that might be the demise of the franchise, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because who's going to want to risk it? I mean,
especially if they have a job that they don't want to risk their jobs, their careers for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not good.
They're going to have to turn the table somehow if they want to survive it. I'm not sure how. Like you said, the age.
Yeah, the age will help.
The age would be
I've always said they should not have a lead under 30. I mean, maybe 29 if we're talking about a really, really, seriously, and just really focused on, the future. But I've always said that. And now, we have Zach coming up. Zach is fairly young, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
25, 26, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you should not, as a dating coach, if you came to me and you were that age, I'd say, get your ass out there, get a roster, have the time of your life, and find the love of your life by 30. Mm-hmm. You have so much time. You know, do you have a career? Do you have this? Do you have all your ducks in a row? I'm going to bet you don't, you know? You may even need more therapy on yourself before you even get out there, which most of them do and don't do that. So then that is why their mental health is just comes crashing down. They don't have that stable foundation that you absolutely need. When people come and slide in my DMs and they're like, I want to be on the show. I want to, you know, I almost always tell them, no, you don't. And this is why. You know, I don't think I've ever suggested anybody to actually go on the show unless they are literally telling me, you know, they've got all these things just right. You know, I've been in therapy for years. I love myself. Like, you know what I mean? They like those are core things.
They fit the criteria.
Yeah, that you need to have. And honestly, they're not even going to let you on the show because you have all of that.
Yeah,
no,
you're too stable.
You're good. I don't know how Ben Higgins got on that show. I really don't.
That was the golden days. It's not like that anymore.
And the thing of it is everybody is saying the same thing, but they keep watching. So, I mean, they just keep
for gluttons for punishment.
It's like a car accident. You can't look away.
It's an obsession. You know, it's for me. It's a hope. Yeah. It's a hope that it will change. But I do feel like I'm enabling. You know, being an enabler.
Yeah,
right.
Course.
I mean, my whole account, well, most of it is very much Bachelor focused. But that's why I post things about Trista and Ben and, you know, Sean. Like, I post like the beautiful love stories that have come from the show. Like maybe they wouldn't have met if they wasn't for the show. So I try to focus on that, not like all the drama. I mean, yes, I do pull the drama in here and there, but I mean, the Gabby and Vinny stuff is just too good. You can't not.
Oh gosh,
right?
you have to totally.
Yeah, you can't not. But I mean, for her to go on like national news, you know, stations and interviews and say, hell yeah, I date this guy. I need to pick me up. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I think they're probably already dating. Like, how could they not be?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hookup buddies, whatever. But they've had, you know, I'm sure they have spent quality time together, whatever that means.
Especially, especially, you know, shooting Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, exactly. And now there's rumors that she's with Alan. Have you guys heard this? Hannah's ex-partner on Dancing with the Stars.
That Gabby is?
Yeah. So a lot of people on TikTok.
I thought she's not with Vinny?
Well, I mean, we don't know. We don't know for sure. I mean, I'm manifesting that. I want that so badly because they're just so cute together. But
me too.
But Alan, so there's TikTok accounts that say that Alan is like always in the back, kind of like, you know, he's kind of like behind the scenes, if you will, while she's like getting her hair done or like getting her nails done. Kind of like how a boyfriend would be, you know what I mean? And they think maybe Vinny is just kind of covering for that. But why? I mean, Alan's single, right? So like, what's the big deal if like she and Alan got together? So
maybe it was something that developed while she was still with, what's his name? You know, Eric. And they're trying to cover it. Yeah, with Eric. And that's the reason why she broke it off. Because they were happy until they weren't.
Yeah, and she still has all the like happy photos of them together on her feed. It's really interesting. Mm-hmm. Usually they just like take all that off. It's
really strange.
They just take it. And then Jill and Jacob, no longer together. That was just like a freaking fizzle, you know, quick fizzle.
Did you see his statement on Instagram today?
No.
It was really heartfelt. I actually commented on it and told him, let me get it. It was very, I like, it made me cry.
Oh my God.
And I did, and he's not one I care for. And I don't cry. Yeah, I don't cry very easily.
He comes off very vapid and
very conceited, and
it's probably really nice.
I'm kind of aloof to me. Like, I don't know.
Kind
just
of hard
all
to
over
get
the
to
place.
know.
But she kind of did too. So I thought that their personalities,
I love her.
Here's what he
I
said.
think she's awesome.
Work together.
She would be a killer bachelorette. She would be so fun to watch.
Oh, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. I could get down with that.
I know Game of Roses is lobbying for Jill for bachelorette.
It would probably be a lot better than what I've seen in the previews that Zach has got.
Oh God, Lord help us.
I haven't seen anything. I'll have to look into the next one. When does that start?
January 18th. Oh, okay. See, it was close. All right. Here's what Jacob said. You were the right person at the wrong time. You gave 100% while I gave 80. You pushed me to look for quality work change my schedule, and focus on my family instead of hollow relationships. You asked for better communication while I was lacking. You showed up when I didn't. Trust was lost. Yes, distance was a big factor for me. Being 2,000 miles away comes with its share of challenges, but that wasn't the main reason. It was regardless. It was readiness of commitment. I appreciate you making me recognize this at the cost of you trying to make it work. We had talked before the reunion, and we were both open to give it a go. At the reunion, I wanted to show you a glorious moment to somehow undo the pain I caused in Mexico. But it isn't about the big moments. It's about the little things. I wasn't there to give you my whole heart because of my insecurities. I have a lot of refinement to do before I can mentally and spiritually be there. You deserve to be loved. Right now, I deserve to be alone. Jill, good luck on your journey, Angel.
Wow. I want to repost that. Wow. Is that a post or a story?
It's a post, so you can post it. I said, I said to it, you have much more depth than you let on. Don't wait until it's too late to let someone in, Jacob.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what a refreshing, honest, self-deprecating, it's so nice to hear. And especially, from a young guy, it's at least he was willing to take responsibility.
Thank you.
It's
Johnny, are you watching?
Thank you. I can forgive you. I mean, these are young people. It's like with Johnny. If Johnny would have just said, look, I lied. I was under all this pressure. I panicked. I didn't know. I just got all wrapped up in it. I'm just so overwhelmed. Whatever. I could have totally gotten on board with that.
And that's why I appreciated what Victoria said on Nick's podcast, because I did feel like she did take accountability, don't you think? And that she really was I'm no angel. I made mistakes. I, slipped up. I said things I shouldn't have. Blah, blah, blah. And even what I was bothered by most was on the reunion, her attitude. I'm just if y'all don't like me, I could care less. Fuck you. No. You don't talk to your fans and people that have rallied for you for years like that. Yeah. And she recognized that. She was like, that was wrong of me. I wish I could take that back. I regret acting that way. That I do care. I love my fans. I really appreciate you supporting me. Please know that. And I'm so sorry. That is okay, cool. We're good. We cool. You know what I mean?
It's all good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And now I'm kind of okay.
Because I can imagine you get in that. I'm sure she was defensive, and that can cause you to just react in a big way, when you feel like you're being attacked, and that is the one thing that I think Johnny did say about, they both came out swinging at each other. And he did say that she was very upset that it went that way. And so was he, is what he said, so it wasn't their intention. So yeah, I think they just got swept up in the whole reunion thing.
And I understand,
Should we talk?
If somebody calls you a name like that, words do hurt. And that is something that you really can't take back. I mean, that's a soul crushing thing to be called. You know what I mean? Especially if you have insecurities around that and whatever. And for him to say, I said you were being one, not that you are one. I'm sorry, is this the Bill Clinton, what is, or, whatever that was? No. You said that. You need to own that and say, I should never have called you that. I will never call you that again, or any other woman for that matter. But to say that you have British friends and that it's not a big deal in Britain, what the... Seriously?
Whatever.
That's your
defense?
defense?
In your vocabulary, don't talk to me.
Exactly.
It's that's in your vocabulary.
No.
Yeah.
Then you're not my people.
It's disgusting.
Right.
No.
Yeah, that really sat badly with me. But, and is it...
That shows his character.
100%. And is it fast that, that Greg is visiting Victoria in Nashville and they're moving in together, and she's met his family and he's met her family, or he's going to meet her family for Christmas or spending Christmas together? Who cares? If she was in a toxic relationship and she didn't want to stay in it and she had a spark with someone prior, I would have done the same thing.
She was engaged to Johnny for 3 weeks.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's built a foundation with Greg prior to this. So I don't think it's too fast.
First.
I'm happy for her. And
I really think he saw Victoria as his meal ticket.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Yes, Johnny.
Oh,
Johnny.
she's got what? I mean, she's way up there in followers. She's got huge brand deals. She's a household name in Bachelor Nation, and I'm sure
She was on Nick's
wants
season,
to be on
right?
her coattails. Peter's
Season,
yeah.
that's right. She dated Chase Rice.
Yes,
Not Chase Rice.
yes.
It was
Yeah.
Chase Rice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, she doesn't have a beautiful past, but if she's learning to admit her wrongs and saying that she wants to grow and be better, like, who are we to say that, she can't do that? So,
To me, she's not the same girl that was on Peter's season.
I don't see
I don't
that
know
with
if
that.
she's had lots of therapy or PR coaching or what, but she is not the same girl.
I agree.
Well, she's older now,
Yeah.
right? How many years has that been?
5?
No. Peter's season was 2020.
Oh, wow.
Just-
Gosh,
yeah,
I
just
feel like
2.
forever ago.
I know, right? Yeah, just 2 years. But, a lot can happen in 2 years, plus the pandemic. I think the pandemic changed a lot of people. So, I mean, I don't
totally.
know. I want to give her more of a benefit of the doubt. And I do think that she was pretty raw and honest. I feel like Johnny kind of dodged some questions. They really didn't. They answered pretty much every single thing. Now, granted, it's Nick. They're friends with him. I'm sure he gave them the questions prior because, he did that for Greg's interview right after Katie's season, right?
No, I did not know.
Yes. He prepped Greg. I mean, remember, because Greg was like the villain of Katie's season, right? So he prepped Greg with every single question. Because you listen to that interview and you're just like, literally, it sounds like he's reading off a page. And that was what solidified my thoughts of him. Plus, his ex had contacted me and verified everything that I needed to know anyway about him. So that's again why I'm just like, I'm not going to be team Greg and Victoria. I mean, I'm happy for them, but I'm not that cheerleader. Like I'm not going to be her.
I noticed that he was not, when she was speaking, he was looking away. He looked very bored. He was like looking around and, he was not, I felt like he wasn't
Nervous?
like, I don't know if he wasn't focused because I watched it on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead, so when you get a chance, go back and watch it. Like he was completely like just aloof. Like she would be speaking and he would be, with his head to the side, just kind of look at the ceiling and kind of bored looking.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want to be.
I mean, they say that they're each other's people, and if they are,
Maybe he just didn't want to. Maybe he just didn't want to rehash everything.
oh, I'm sure he
and
was very
was nervous
uncomfortable. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
saying he was very uncomfortable, but he knew that it just needed to be done. And I guess she tried to get out of it last minute. And Greg's like, no, we have to do this. Like, we have to answer these questions. Like, it's out there. We owe our fans that. We owe people that support us that. All that.
Sorry.
If you want to keep up with your endorsement deals.
Yeah, I mean,
Like seriously.
right, whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, it was a necessity. And so he was like, no, you're going. So what I just told Jeni is that Victoria tried to get out of the Nick interview, like last minute. I don't know if she heard me.
She's fine.
All hell is breaking loose in my
no.
house. My husband just got home, came in the door. The camera's pointing right at him. He's half naked. He's walking by me. I see half of his
Oh.
butt. And then he starts to come
You're like,
back, and I'm like,
Isn't that fun?
he doesn't know that Aaron's here. He thinks it's just me and Jenny. He's not even
Not that
thinking
I want
about
to see him
it.
naked, but
Nobody wants to
I've
see
seen
it.
that before. No,
I'm
kidding.
like, stop. I finally get him out.
hey, maybe we can
I'm-
make some money.
I look over. I'm pointing the camera over at the side of the room I do not want
That
you to
is
see.
hilarious.
Everything has gone to die. The baby stuff. And then he's like, sorry, I just wanted shorts. And then here comes my cat, just ba-boom.
My son has done that before. Just like dropped trowel, walked right across the screen.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and he has like
just got off
like
work.
a cutoff
Poor guy.
shirt. You could see everything. I'm just like, oh my god, this is not happening. I just had to do that little thing up here.
I'm like, please. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been easier for me to just didn't think
But
about
you're
that.
shocked, right? You're like, what's happening? What's happening?
I'm like,
That's so funny. Oh my god. But yeah. Anyway, that was like my takeaway from that interview. I'm really glad that they did do one. But you're right. Johnny is never going on Nick's podcast. Never. Yeah, because I think he has a lot to hide, to be honest. I really do. I feel like he has a lot
totally.
to hide.
Or do we want to talk about Aaron and Genevieve?
Yeah.
I do, at least for a second. Come on, guys.
I know.
I have 7 minutes.
I'm
okay.
Okay, I'm
Go
hot.
for it.
Okay, this is
Okay.
bullshit. This guy, I called him a douche canoe. I guess that's the best I can come up with. I mean, is he the only one guilty of being there for the wrong reasons? We've clearly covered the fact that he's not, okay? But to go to the lengths that he went to, I love you, and, that very last day, the way he broke up with her.
So dismissive.
It was horrible.
Have a good night.
And the bottom
Have a
line
good
is
night, yeah.
he was a toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was toxic and mean, and I mean, not a good human. I mean,
No.
I hope they don't associate with him anymore. That's about all I can say right now.
I'm shocked because I've always heard good things about him.
Yeah, same. And his friends.
That was
ugly.
ugly.
James is a doll. He's an absolute doll. Andrew, all of his friends are such great guys. So I'm like, what happened?
And
It was awful.
And apparently he was dating. He had 2 girls waiting for him at home, and that's why he broke it
Now
off
that
with
does
her.
not.
I guess so.
Surprise me at all. That does not surprise me at all.
No. And again, it wouldn't surprise me for any of them, because clearly we've covered the fact that there's people there for the wrong reasons, blah, blah, blah. But that was like sociopath level shit that he was pulling on her. I mean, in my opinion, it's like,
Wild.
what in the hell? Why did you have to go that far?
Especially since I think she probably would have ended up being happy with Justin, maybe, possibly. I don't know.
So on Almost Famous, I haven't listened to all of it yet, but she was.
I haven't listened to the entire thing. Yeah.
Okay, yes, right. She was talking about how she could have handled things differently with Justin, but she did say she wished that she had left that second fight that she and Aaron had. She regrets staying after that fight.
Oh, I'm sure she does. How humiliating
Yeah.
this was, because so much of what they showed of them was this awful, the fighting and the,
Itching and
him
That was
demeaning
the
her.
pain.
And
That was ridiculous.
That was ridiculous. He always has to be right. That's his problem.
oh my God, my head wanted to explode every
Yeah.
time he would open his mouth. I'm like, oh my God, mansplain much. Shut up.
And the
like
gaslighting.
ugh. Blech.
Yeah. He's a gaslighter.
Very toxic for sure. Yeah, and I know you guys like Genevieve. I haven't spoken to her. I don't really know her on like a personal level or anything. But do you think that she had any, do you think how she handled things was good on her end? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think no. I've never spoken to her on like on podcasts or we've communicated a little bit during Clayton season in a message. I think that she left Clayton season because she was afraid to open up. That being said, I think she's a good judge of character with her intuition, and she knew better than to open up with Clayton.
Interesting.
Now, I did feel like she was a little crazy, and I say that loosely. I don't like to use that word. Okay, let's say this.
Sensitive?
She was a little
Intense.
with intense with Justin in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like when they first got there, she was ready to couple up and get engaged, and I was like, "Well, you've been here a day,
And it scared him, I think.
Oh, it scared anybody.
And he was like, "Well, I just want to play the field," and that's what she should have been doing.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, granted, were they communicating beforehand? I don't know. But, she did say that Aaron was very affectionate to her, and that's what she wanted. And I could see that. I think it just took such a bad turn. But, at the end of she said she'll never do another one.
Oh, yeah.
I think at the end of the day, I feel bad for her because I think she is someone that's been hurt a lot in her life, and this just didn't go well.
I agree with that. I think she's genuinely looking for love.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she definitely kind of came off a little desperate.
And the
to
thing
me.
is, she's so young. There's no reason for her to feel desperate.
Yeah, slow down.
Not one minute. She's beautiful. She has a lot to offer. I think she has a great personality. I think that he brought out the worst in her for sure. But I have a question. Was she the one on Clayton season then, Jenny, who refused to open up to the therapist in the session?
Yes.
Okay.
And then went home.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I thought. I forgot. So they had like a therapy group date, which is always ridiculous. And she was the one girl who wouldn't talk to the therapist. And I thought, oh, there's some stuff there that she definitely should be talking to a therapist about. Because it triggered her.
Yes. Yeah. And
maybe she's done some work, because she did seem to be a little more like verbal about her emotions and needs.
That is probably why, right? That's probably why. But
hopefully.
I find it interesting that she's roommates with Rachel.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes.
That's such a odd coupling, like of friends. Yeah. Like I would have never thought that those two would have ended up like living together in an apartment.
No, not at all. I really thought Rachel and Michelle were living together because they kept doing TikToks together, and so I assumed that's who her new roommate was. I'm
actually shocked that Rachel is in California because she was so adamant whoever she was with had to move to Florida.
Right. Yeah, I guess she was able to get a transfer or something, but yeah, it's kind of wild. I'm trying to think what else.
Yeah, I don't know.
In the reunion that kind of stuck out. I was upset that Jasenia and Andrew and NC didn't have their time to kind of discuss what happened with them. Right? And I think they invited Teddy to the reunion, and she said, F you, I'm not going back to that show, right? Because you saw her post when she left, that post that she had, that kind of said it all. But yeah, I think that they invited her, and she's like, no way in hell I'm coming.
I will, not to change couples, but I cried when Michael and Danielle got together.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Yeah. And I it's not Serena. Is it Serena or Serene?
Serena Brandon.
Okay. No, the one that Michael was with before her for the day. For the day. Sierra. She's talking out saying that and mad because she said that Danielle badmouthed her and Caitlin badmouthed her on the podcast without saying her name.
So
but for months, Sierra's been throwing shade.
Yeah, for sure. And I listened to that podcast, and they just didn't use her name, which I thought was very dismissive and rude. Because I think that, I mean, come on, as a podcaster, like if you're going to talk about someone, you probably should know their name. I would never say like, I know I said what's her name when I couldn't remember
that
Kate.
Girl.
Yeah, but I said Kate. I said Kate, you know. But to say like, oh, well, you know, he was with what's her name, blah, 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 that's not okay. Like, I do not condone that. That is very dismissive and very rude. I think that Sierra actually handled the reunion with grace, a lot of grace.
Yes.
I mean, she bit her tongue. She was going to say something. She didn't. She was just like, look how happy they are. And she even said, she's like, my God, look how cute they are. Like, the camera caught her saying that. So I was like, you know what, girl, even if that was fake, good on you. Because that is the epitome of grace and just having dignity, you know, about yourself. Like she could have stooped and she did not. So even though she was throwing shade prior, I think that the reunion kind of cleared that up a little bit more.
I do too. And then their interview was prior. Okay. Thank you for being with us again.
Oh my gosh, Erin. You're so welcome. Anytime I mean, seriously, I know we have no Bachelor right now.
We'll catch up.
Any show.
We will catch up again soon.
Yeah,
Happy
for sure. We're going to keep it going.
You
Thank
too.
You too.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
Hi. Oh, they can't hear me.
Bye.
It's always a fun time when she comes, isn't it?
Yeah, I love talking to her. It's like,
I do too.
I don't know. Her energy is just really good. And she always surprises me. Like, she always says something that I'm like, oh, I didn't think I'd hear that from you, Erin. Like something sassy or like, I don't know. I think it's one of those things where just getting to know somebody that from like a social media perspective or something, you think one thing and then you're just getting to know them and it's like, no, you're a really cool person. It's cool.
Yeah, she's just a lot of layers there.
She's got great judgment, I think, and perspective on people's personalities, and she's helping me to, because especially in this world, boy, they're not shed in the greatest light, you know, and so she's got really good perspectives, but it helped to listen to some of the podcast stuff a lot. Like if I'm going to watch anything in the future, definitely have to do the behind the scenes stuff, because just watching what they're putting out, it's a hellscape. It's like,
you almost have to, it's like you have to do your homework. It's like a project,
No, seriously. Like,
and Erin, I feel like she brings this, like, I could be like, oh, like when I said about Sierra throwing shade and this and that, and she's like, yeah, and she gives you this very, clear explanation, and it's like, oh shit, I shouldn't have thrown that shade.
Well,
it's like,
I don't always agree, but I mean, for the most part, it just gives you the different ways to look at things. And some of the people that she's actually met and gotten to know, that's a whole nother level, but it's cool.
That would be so cool. I would be that would be my bucket list.
Yeah, I could see, we need to try to, I mean, I know you are trying, but I'm just saying, like, that was a good tip that she gave today about Ben's mom. Mm-hmm. We need to look into her book or whatever it was, and that might be a way to get in. I said we can focus on the parents.
Can't get in with the stars, we'll get in with the parents.
Moms love me.
Meet the parents.
Dads too. I'm down.
All right, well, I guess we should wrap it up now.
Yeah.
It's getting late.
Oh,
Well, tomorrow we have big guests coming up. We have a big thing coming. We'll surprise you with it. That sounds stupid. We have a big thing coming.
A big old thing coming. No, well, just big guests. Yeah, important guests.
Yeah, we have a really big guest that we've been looking forward to for quite some time. So
very interesting.
I'm sure very interesting. And these episodes will post very close together. So it may be out around within a day of each other. So yeah, I'm babbling now.
No, you're doing good.
Anyhow,
you're doing good, Jeni.
We're gonna wrap this up. Stay tuned, folks.
Yeah.
Check out our website.
Buy our merch.
Honestly, buy our merch. Our podcast episodes are on YouTube right now, as starting to appear on YouTube. So check out our channel there. They're not our video. They're not our. I'm not using our video because on a lot of them we haven't been camera ready. But I do have it's just video stuff with our words in the background. But so if you're a person that wants to put it on your TV and doesn't want something in your ears, you can always check it out there too. Sure. Or if you don't have a podcast favorite apps.
I don't know. My husband, I can't get him on board with podcasts, but he loves the YouTube stuff. And
see, that's why.
His guys that he loves, because he's a computer nerd. So it's not really podcasting, but it is, but it's on that subject. And just about building computers and the different stuff and technologies, but that he is obsessed with the YouTube thing.
I watched Nick on YouTube. I would prefer to watch it than listen to it.
I really would too. I mean, I have tried to start, I watched Victoria's interview on YouTube because I wanted to see it.
Me too.
So I'm down. We just have to be camera ready all the time.
We have to be, So tomorrow with Dr. Lee, we'll be camera ready. So we'll put that one.
Yeah, I don't think we can be showing up all busted in front of Dr. Lee.
Oh, hell no. Not like I do now. I got no makeup on. My face is all
told you, this is
out.
all lies. Smoke and mirrors, people. I mean, it was.
At least you've got smoke and mirrors. I didn't even attempt it.
It was bad. I came barreling in here from work, sweating from head to. I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad. So don't feel. It's all.
I threw on a baseball cap and I was like, oh no, that looks worse.
We'll be fine. We'll be okay tomorrow.
All right, folks. Thank you for listening. Hopefully we'll have more juicy gossip with Aaron as The Bachelor starts airing, which is being about a month from now. I mean,
I'm committed to watching.
Ramp it up.
I'm committed to watching that. Because now I've watched Bachelor in Paradise.
It sucks you in.
And now I have to watch a season of The Bachelor to see what I think. I'm not promising anything after that. But, because it does suck you in, but I just don't know. I don't know. Because
you meet the people and then they're on the other show and they connect them. And that's probably why they do it.
But so I'm invested. Committed to the one more time. We'll see how it goes, Yeah,
we'll check it out. We'll see.
Yeah. Just to talk to Aaron, it's worth doing it. So
true. I love her perspective, as we just said. All right, folks, stay tuned. Got lots of things coming up.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.